I mean, I think something that I haven't quite emphasised as much as I would have liked is that the commissioning. I know you have been involved in lived experience recovery organisations who take a slightly different view of it. You know, in some ways, you kind of like being off grid, but
I do like being off grid. You're right.
Yes. I think the idea that money should go directly to well established, you know, clearly defined lived experience recovery organisations of different scales. I mean, I'm not just talking about big organisations, but you know, maybe one or two people operating in a creative, ethical, professional way. I don't mean professional in the sense of, you know, a defined profession, but you know, they're adhering to proper standards. They should be funded properly. You know, there should be money that doesn't go through some big contract hooverer organisation subcontracting, you know, say, oh, we can do it. We'll give a little, you know, we'll either do it ourselves using our own sort of clients, or we'll subcontract at ridiculously unviable levels of funding to these organisations. They should be directly supported, and that's something that's in process and in progress. You know, I think there are, like you said, standards are a problematic thing, but you kind of need them if you want to attract money, if you want to attract commissioners to say, I want to directly commission. Because at the moment we're relying on, there are one or two commissioners in the country, and I would mention, I'm not sure if this is the current one, but the Director of Public Health and the Commissioner of Addiction Services in Liverpool were both amazingly enlightened. They visited the projects they were funding. They spent whole days there. They kind of knew exactly what they were looking for and what they wanted to support. And they were also good at spotting lazy and inadequate practice and making sure that their contracts weren't renewed. And there's another chap in Essex who again really wants to be really radical about commissioning. He's almost got I think he's trying to get a commissioning panel together of people with lived experience who will actually say, this is what we need to be spending money on. And those people are honourable, you know, exceptions, but they could be models for a much better commissioning system where money could be spent very much. Now, you know, you don't want money to go down the drain. You don't want to be funding an organisation that's going to last 6 months and then fall flat on its face. We know that. And so there's always a propensity to look for something that's going to be stable and ongoing. But there are ways of funding these things and supporting them in which will sustain their viability and sustain their and allow them to expand and allow them to build quality. And those things are very different from treatment services. You know, lived experience recovery organisations are not the same thing at all. And I think, you know, that's what I would really like to see, is much greater recognition, much more direct support, a set of standards that don't constrain the creativity and the range of what they do, but which say, look, you know, this is worth funding because it's got some stability to it.